Hello, how are you? I hope you're well. It's nice to be here, and I thought I would talk today about some of the oils or fatty acids that are in soaps and talk about how they contribute to the quality of the soap and to the lather produced. For the first shave of the new year, I'm turning to an old favourite in my Mühle R106, which is the R89 head with the heavier acrylic handle. I've got a Gillette 365 razor blade in there on its third use, and in fact today we're going to go the full Mühle. So I've got my synthetic fibre 25mm Mühle brush, and I've got the aloe vera Mühle soap, which I have never used before, and I thought this was a great opportunity. So it's very small in size, coming in at 2.3 ounces. It says it's gentle and caring with fine fragrance notes of oak moss and mint. There we are. Let me just show you the ingredients list there. And this is a brand new soap, as you can see. It is quite a mild smelling soap, but it smells very clean. The oak moss is giving me hints of aniseed, but it is a lightly scented soap, and I can smell the mint just behind it. So I'm just going to hold this in my hand while I build a lather on my brush. Can you see perhaps? No, the light's not going to do it, is it? There we are. The soap is stamped with the Mühle mark, the windmill. There we are. I'm just going to do this in my hand. I've got a lather forming straight away. I wanted to talk about some of the ingredients in soaps, and I thought this was the best way to do it as part of a shave, because then you can see the lather that I'm building and the soap working. I thought perhaps if I did it as part of a Sunday sit down, it may end up being me just reading a list of ingredients, which wouldn't be very exciting at all. So I've decided to do it this way. When I'm reviewing a soap and it uses different oils, I will talk about them. I've just added a drop of water to the tip of my brush there, and actually I think that will probably be ample soap on there just to start with. Now this is a very white lather. And actually, as I'm putting it on my face, it's very pleasant smelling. It is perhaps a little bit one-dimensional, but nevertheless it's very, very nice. I know this retails on the Mühle site for £6.50 in the UK. Now I thought I'd try this brush and face lather today rather than bowl lathering for a change. Add some more water. The aloe in this is extracted from the plant itself, and it is very soothing and calming for the skin. Apparently, it is suitable for sensitive skin. Now this is building into quite a nice lather. I'm just going to add a little drop more water to my brush and build this a little bit more. That is a very nice brush. There we are. I'll put that there. You can see that there is lather all over the place. Let me just clean myself up a little bit. You know, I first became interested in the ingredients of soap after I had an experience with Tobbs Soap, Taylor of Old Bond Street. Their soap had burned me very badly, and of course before that, before I got into DE shaving, I used soap or shaving gel from a can, and never had a problem with that, so I had no idea that you could have allergies or reactions to your shaving soap. So when I used that Tobbs soap, it was a great shock to me to find out that a soap could burn you. And it did affect me very badly, and I've just had a comment left on the site yesterday actually about Tobbs shaving soap, and it caused a gentleman a very bad reaction similar to mine, so that's that's what first started my interest in the ingredients used in soap, and as part of that journey, I wanted to find out more about how the soap is made. Now, I find it quite fascinating actually, and but one of the things that struck me when that soap from Taylor of Old Bond Street burned my skin is that I looked on the ingredients of soaps and saw there were ingredients like myristic acid or stearic acid. And not knowing anything about soaps at all, I didn't know what they were, and I imagined it was that caused the burning at first, because of the word acid I associated it with the burning feeling. Acids are soap making oils, and each oil contains a combination of different fatty acids. So the Mühle soap that I'm using today is made with Palm Kernel Oil. It's actually listed on the ingredients list on the box as palm kernel acid. But it is the oil from the kernel of a palm. And you know what? That was a very nice first pass indeed. I do like this Mühle razor. Now I'm trying to avoid this area here because I have had some bad infections down there that are just not quite cleared up yet. You know, I didn't think I would like to go bigger than a 24mm brush, but these synthetic ones from Mühle are, but this one's 25mm and the one below it is 23. This is a very nice sized brush. In fact, it's a very nice brush. I'm really liking this. The more I use it, the more I like it. Now, this lather feels very creamy. I was surprised when I looked at the ingredients list that there was only one oil listed on the box. But in fact, Palm Kernel Oil, let me just adjust my notes for a moment please, because I can't remember all of this stuff. Palm Kernel Oil contains lauric acid, myristic acid and oleic acid. So there are 3 different types of fatty acid that make up the palm kernel oil. In making soap, the fatty acid combines with the alkali in a chemical reaction, and the result is soap. I found out that the fat from a palm kernel oil is 80% saturated. And that helps to make a hard bar of soap. Now the first ingredient I mentioned, which was lauric acid, also lends a hardness to the soap. It has very good cleansing qualities, and it helps to build a fluffy lather. And but in large quantities, because of that cleansing action, it would have a tendency to dry your skin out. Coconut oil has a large percentage of lauric acid, and that is well known for being quite drying, so I guess you wouldn't make a soap and use coconut oil as your sole fat. I should point out that I am not a soap maker, although I am interested, and I may have a go at making my own soap this year. I want to make, first of all, a hand or bar soap, a hand and face soap I should say, because when I have these areas of irritation, I normally use a neem, tea tree and lavender soap to wash with morning and evening and before shaving, and I've run out at the moment, but all of those all of those ingredients have antiseptic and antibacterial qualities, and I find they work really well. So that will be my first attempt at making a soap, I think. Something to help with infection. But anyway, back to the Mühle shaving soap. The next ingredient is one called myristic acid. And this also has the exact same qualities as the lauric acid. It helps make a hard bar of soap, it creates a fluffy lather, and it has great cleaning qualities. Now, in reading up on this, you don't want your soap to be too cleaning or cleansing for a shaving soap. You want it to be more moisturising, so I think that developing a soap base using the different oils to try and get the correct base that is conditioning, creates a good lather, is not drying, is a great skill indeed, and one that I'm sure takes a great deal of practice. And in this soap, oleic acid is the substance that helps with skin conditioning and moisturisation. Oleic acid is also present in tallow and olive oil. And I have read that too much oleic acid kills your lather. So it seems that there is a fine line between getting a soap just right for shaving and getting it wrong. Now there, I'm just going to miss that bit there, below that line. I'm sure you noticed that I did 2 passes there with the grain, and I've just been experimenting a little bit with that lately, and I'm finding it's working quite well for me. Doing 2 passes with the grain seems to be allowing me to go against the grain much more easily. There we are, that is my shave. Now that soap feels very nice on my skin. Very smooth, very moisturised. Excuse me while I get some more water and rinse properly. There we go. I'm just going to rub a little bit of alum onto my skin. I was looking for a new alum block just yesterday, and I saw one on a certain website, and it was £16, which is outrageous. Gents, honestly, do not buy alum for £16. Not even if you're rich. So I'm going to plumb for one which was a greater weight. It was, I think it was I can't remember, but it was a greater weight, and it was about £4. There we are. I'm glad that I used the Mühle brush for face lathering. It was very different. It's quite a nice face latherer, although it is very dense. I think I prefer it as for bowl lathering and painting on, but nevertheless very nice. I enjoyed that. I'm going to use today, I'm looking for my Proraso green. Which I love this stuff. Now next week I will be doing a razor review. It is a razor kindly sent to me on loan from Michael Friedberg. I've used it a couple of times already, and it is already my favourite razor. I think it is an exceptional razor. So that will be next week's video. I hope you can join me then. In the meantime, it's been good to be back here, and you take care of yourselves. Please subscribe if you like what you've seen. All the best now. See you soon.